Good morning, everybody. If that hasn't woken you up, I have absolutely no idea what will. If that hasn't got you ready for your Friday morning and spend some time with us, you're beyond help, I think. I think that's too much. Welcome to this new show. This is exciting, isn't it? Really excited to be here with my co-host, who I thought I was going to be here, but it's just me. There he is.
Good morning.
Good morning. I thought you were popping up at some point, and then it was just my face. And as much as I like looking at myself, I was ready for somebody else to come and to take up some space. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'm so pumped. Honestly, I was ready to go out and get, I was ready to go, and I'm always dancing. So, yeah, good morning. Obviously, my name's Tom Parkinson. I'm one of the members of the NextGen community, and fortunately get to join on great things like this, and super excited to be here. New format, and I'm joined with the lovely Amelia. Do you want to actually do a formal introduction as to who you are?
Yes, absolutely. Sometimes I forget about that, and just I'm like the queen or something. I just assume people surely they know who I am. No, of course you don't. You might not. You might do. I am the head of community at NextGen Planners. I am Amelia Hamilton, and as Tom said, I will be here guiding you through this buzz on a Friday, every other Friday. So you've got a couple of weeks in between each of these to get pumped, to get ready, to drink enough coffee, to hear that music, to feel like you're gonna go and win the world. I don't know. But I love it. I'm really into that music, and I'm really into this show. Oh, my dog! I thought she wasn't going to upstage me. That happened way too early. I thought you can get down. Oh dear.
Oh. On that note, whilst your dog's inbound, should we say, do you want to tell people, because we haven't caught up in ages, so do you just want to tell a little bit, since we last caught up, you were presenting, doing some shows at the Fringe, so can we just say, how did that go, like, brief summary, before we go into the really exciting news that I know everybody wants to hear about. I just want to hear 2 minutes about how the Fringe went.
Yes, and then that's actually quite a nice way to go. My news, your news, the world news, our community news.
Amazing.
You've done the segues right themselves. Yeah, my news, I guess, since I last saw you, I do stand-up comedy in the evenings. That's my thing I do on the side. I took a show to the Fringe this year, which was very exciting, very fun. Roller coaster of emotions doing your own stand-up show every single evening, but learned so much, and I want to do it again all the time. It's a weird, it's kind of like an abusive relationship with something where it's like, it's bad, but like, just give me more. I can't, I'm addicted. But yeah, I loved it. What about your news quickly before we go into news?
Blimey, I haven't got anything anywhere near as big as that. I'm having a garden room that's going to be an office. That's as exciting as my news gets. So I shall hopefully have a nice background when I'm working from home. This is the actual office background. So hopefully it will look something like this, kind of repeatable, maybe without the door. So yes, that's all my news is. But shall we go into the insight scoop? Is that what we're calling it?
You nailed it, Tom Parkinson.
Yes,
what a intro. Yes, please. Let's go. I love the music. Yes, so we're going to cover a few news stories from the world, things that are happening at the moment that you might not know about, that will be interesting to bring up. To the first story that we're going to talk about links into the kind of broader theme today, which is looking at AI. And the story is that OpenAI has raised £5 billion in a funding round that values the AI business at $157 billion, which is, I'm going to say it, a lot of money. What are your thoughts about how AI is moving and the direction it's going, and the amount of money they've been able to get together from that?
Yeah, I mean, just crazy, crazy valuation. It values it
Yeah.
on par with Uber, as you said, so like an insane valuation. But I think we all know, as embracers of technology, and I'm sure most of our community and those in other professions are really embracing it. And I think it's a bit like when the internet was first released. I think it's kind of the same amount of buzz about it in terms of people that are going, I want to be an early adopter of this thing because I don't want to miss out on the potential it could give to me, my business, personal, professional life. So I don't think anyone's particularly surprised by it. I think there's still some skeptics or skepticism around it. But I'd be really interested because this links on to our interview later on when we've got the delightful Mark coming to join us, who I'm sure you'll introduce, but he's going to come and talk about some AI. And I think there's something going on in the community as well. Tell me a bit
Yeah,
about that.
we do. We're running AI training at the moment, which is really exciting. It's something new for us, and I'm the lucky person who gets to host and facilitate that. Where
Amazing.
it's taking us through lots of different forms of AI and how to use it, and where you're best placed to use different software for different tasks, and it's really exciting.
Amazing.
But
So
there
we're
you
going
go.
to see that in the community, get to have a little scoop, see what's going on, and see how we can possibly adopt it in our own profession. Super exciting, and we'll find out how other people are using that a little bit later on. But we've also had some exciting news regarding some mortgage rates dropping, and obviously that's kind of buoyed the buyer demand and property sales last month as a result of that, leading to house prices actually rising again, which was data from Zoopla. Tell us a bit about that. What's going on? What's the thoughts on that one?
So I wanted to bring that story forward because I think it's something that's really relevant for my friends, where I'm at in life, and looking at, if I live in the southeast, it's not a particularly cheap place to live, and London as well, and so it starts to things start to feel a little bit more doable, and I think it's a nice story to kind of bring forward, because I hope that the amount of money that all of my peers are paying in rent is mind blowing, and the fact that all of these people could easily have a mortgage and afford their own homes, but because of the way our economy is at the moment, and house prices relating to wages and how much you need to save to have a decent deposit, I think stories like that are good, and I can already see within my circle of friends how that's encouraging people to look towards saving more, because it feels achievable, because there's ways that if you can get a bigger mortgage, then the steps are not so many and not so far away. So yeah, that's my take on that one.
Perfect. The only thing that I would say on that, obviously, great news that mortgage rates are coming down, and I think even yesterday the BBC was saying that rates are coming down in the Bank of England's base rate. So obviously mortgages should follow suit if they haven't already, kind of thing. So that's amazing. The only thing is house prices rising, so it's kind of a bit of an offset. But ultimately, if you can get the mortgage in the first place, then obviously people like your peers and yourself will be able to get onto that ladder, which I think is amazing for
Yes,
people
I
in the
think the
next.
bit I missed in that was that it was also, was it Nationwide it was like a mortgage that you can borrow up to 6 times your income. Or
Right,
it was something that was huge, and that was in the context of this kind of stuff that,
blimey,
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, which is an interesting, I don't know, I'm sure other people have different opinions on that, but interesting one to bring up. Next story though, Starling Bank has been fined 29 million pounds for, I quote, shockingly lax financial crime controls that left the financial system wide open to criminals over a 4-year period.
Ridiculous. I think we've got literally a minute to cover this off, but they're letting criminals, not criminals, high risk individuals get through their security systems because there's a lot less tight than a high street bank due to them being a startup nature. So they were more willing to take on customers at the outset. So the higher risk customer could get onboarded far more easily than they would have done if they were at a high street bank. Starling have now said that they are now putting in appropriate measures to stop that from happening going forward. So if you are a Starling bank user, check your data is absolutely fine, nothing's happened, but just be really careful with startup banks. And that's a really key bit of advice is make sure you're protected on all of your bits and pieces where you need to be. So without further ado, are you going to jump into the interview?
I am. And we had 10 minutes for all of that, and you finished at 10 on the dot. What a consummate professional. But yes, I'm going to get rid of the consummate professional, stay with the blabbermouth who can't really stick to a topic. There she is on the full screen. Yeah, I'm very excited to bring in our next guest for this section of Behind the Advisor. Behind the Advisor. Roll the intro. Roll the tape. I was right. It was Behind the Advice. I second guessed myself. But this week, yes, we are joined by the wonderful Mark Whitcroft. Welcome to NextGen Planners Buzz. How are you doing this morning?
Very good, Amelia. Nice to see you again. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Thank you so much, Mark. Yeah, lovely to chat to you as always. I think always some really interesting stuff that comes out about what you're up to and how things are moving. Because obviously the space that you work in within tech and AI is a very clearly fast moving, pacey environment. So with Planner Power, which is your company that you founded, which is aiming to help financial planners with their day-to-day work and streamline it, have you seen there have an increase in demand in this area, and over what period of time would you say that has happened?
Yeah, great question. So Planner Power is an AI platform that helps financial advisors with their productivity in their day-to-day. We've only been around about 9 months now, so a reasonably new company, but this new Gen AI wave is pretty new anyway, right? It's only a couple of years old. I think if we just look at some of the sort of broader statistics that have come out from the industry, so there was a recent BlackRock survey that said half of advisors are looking to implement AI in some form over the next 12 months. NextWealth, a UK consultancy as well, they've actually said that advisor skepticism on AI over the last year has dropped from just under a third to about 7%. So I think in general, the mood music for AI is one that actually, this is clearly here to stay. This is actually going to have an impact, and I need to have a strategy. So in 8 months, we've onboarded 400 firms onto Planner Power. So that's everything from the top end of the market, the big firms, right through to the one-man bands. And we're really sort of seeing two flavors of a sort of advisor interest in AI. One is AI curious, and one is AI serious. So AI curious, they will kind of want to understand what it does. They may not be particularly tech savvy, or they may just be like really interested to experiment, see what it can do for them. And we really encourage this, right? Because this is a powerful tool, but you have to try it for yourself in your own workflow. Get to that aha moment really quickly to sort of say, actually, yeah, this can make a difference. And then the second bucket of sort of AI serious, what we see there is sort of top down within the firm, there's a strategy, right? They've got a data strategy. They know they want to implement AI into their workflow. It's not just for advisors, it's for power planners and support staff as well. So we're really seeing those two flavors, the curious and the serious.
Yeah, and I think I can really see that definitely within our community and the people I talk to, where it seems to be the case that no one's rejecting it per se as a whole, and recognizing that it's not taking anyone's jobs, it's not this scary thing, but something that can really, as you said, help their workflow and push you forward as a business and streamline your efficiency. And so when a financial planner is looking at potentially using AI, in what areas of day-to-day work do you think AI can be best utilized to help productivity, or where do you think AI is best placed for a financial planner today?
Yeah, this is a great question. We get asked this a lot. So I'm going to give a really easy framework as to how to think about this within a firm, right? So there's kind of 3 different use cases that AI can be utilized, 3 buckets, right? Data collection, number 1. Number 2, data analysis. And number 3, data output. So for number 2 and 3, which is data analysis and data output, you need good data in the first place, right? Your CRM needs to be updated. It needs to have good quality data, up-to-date data from the client. And I'm sure everybody's heard this concept of AI where you kind of put rubbish in, you get rubbish out. And so actually what we're seeing most of today, and where, you know, us and our peers have kind of started is number one, which is data collection. So, you know, we have a AI note taker that has a smart document generator. So the advisor client meeting where, you know, you're getting all the richness of the update and the information as to what the client's circumstances are, their goals, you know, their desires, their changes in circumstances, and the soft and the hard facts. We're really seeing that is the first utilization a lot of people are applying because it's easy to do. It's kind of, you know, you're not really changing much about what you're doing. People are very used to recording meetings on Zoom and Teams, and you know, there's a mobile app as well. So, you know, other people use general tools for transcription. You know, so better data collection to start off with, really collecting those nuggets. You know, we record internal meetings as well. Then it's really about updating your CRM, right? So people and firms are paying a lot of money for their CRM. So you really want to make sure you've got the best data quality and improving it. And that's where AI can really help in terms of auto updates to CRM. So we often say sort of superpower the advisor, but turbocharge your CRM as well. And once you've got better data quality, you can really then move into sort of data analysis and data output. And those are things like suitability letters, compliance, marketing, and other opportunities. So, you know, I'd say start with something small and easy to implement, and then you can move further and further into the workflow as you go. That's my suggestion for people considering where it's utilized today.
Definitely. And that's the thing with AI, isn't it? It's, you know, it's useful, it's good, it seems like something I should be doing, but where exactly does it fit into my business? And I think there's some useful tips you've given there. Time is ticking on, so I'm going to say this is probably the last question and give you a little bit more time to expand on this. But more broadly, then, as you said, you're a fairly new company, a new business, and one that is going to have to be constantly evolving and changing to keep up with what's happening out there. AI itself, month to month, is vastly different and has vastly different capabilities. In the next year, where do you see AI in the context of financial planners and our industry? Where do you see it moving? And what do you think people should be paying attention to within that?
Yeah, so I think the first thing I'd say is it's going to become more and more ingrained in people's personal lives. So this is going to be less of a sort of ethereal thing off to the side that's coming to their industry. It's, you know, if you think about Apple and Meta are already implementing AI into their personal tools and their devices. So if you've got a smartphone, you're already using AI, whether you know it or not. But we're going to see more and more of this stuff come in. So I think people's sort of expectations of AI will change just because of the daily usage. And that's a good thing because I think it gets people more comfortable with it and it gets people more familiar with what it can do, but also importantly, what it can't do. The other thing I'd sort of say is AI agents. So this is individual AI agents that work together on a specific detailed task. And so it might look like they're doing a really complex thing, but it's lots of individual agents working together and passing on information to the next one. And I think this is where we start to get to more complex workflows. So things like first drafts of suitability letters, we've got our suitability report generator going into customer testing in the next few weeks. So this stuff is real and live today, but I think it will become more and more prevalent over the next year. And then, I mean, in the new segment, you were talking about OpenAI, you know, them and the other players continue to release new underlying, you know, large language models, which means the capabilities continue to step up and up. And I think that is really exciting to see how much this stuff can be wrapped up in a useful way for a planner. And I think a key thing here is you don't have to be technology brilliant to be able to use AI, right? The role of people like us, our firm, is to wrap this up in a way that is useful for your day-to-day, that is easy to use and a decent experience, and actually can plug into all the stuff that you're already doing from a systems perspective, CRM and others, so it's easy to use. And I think that's really where we've got to see more and more utilization is in a way that is easy to pick up and start using.
Absolutely. What an excellent place to end things. I think let's bring back Tom quickly, because we've got to 20 minutes. How did that time just evaporate in front of us? We're having too much fun. Some really interesting stuff there from Mark. I think you would agree. But thank you so much for both of you joining me today. Thank you very much to you guys out there for watching. We will be back not every Friday, it's every other Friday. What are you going to do next Friday? Probably listen to our new podcast that comes out. There's other things going on in NextGen Planners. But for now, thank you for watching. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time for a short, snappy buzz, and that music is going to be in your head all day. That's a promise from me. Any final words from you, Tom?
No final words. Have a great weekend and see you in 2 weeks. I'm absolutely buzzing for it.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks.